Jai Hind everyone. Though we are 2 minutes early, but it's very difficult to resist and sit idle. So we are very fortunate today to learn a different subject altogether. You would have realized that the uh, current era is totally different than what we have seen earlier or what we have read earlier. In the current era, which is also termed as an era of informal warfare, the term coined by the US Army, is something where anything and everything is being weaponized by the countries depending on what kind of position they are as compared to their adversaries or potential adversaries. Biological warfare per se was a known area of warfare. We have heard about the nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare from our childhood and read about that. But the manifestation which biological warfare is taking today is something to really think about. uh, it need not be the conventional approach where two countries are at war with each other and they are using the certain tools of biological warfare to achieve their military or national aim. Uh, it is when they are at peace also still the certain elements of biological warfare may be used, and the country unleashing this may still pretend to be not doing this. Corona is one of the live examples, which there is a strong belief based on the open media inputs that it is the virus which was spread by China, and then thereafter, the way it has create havoc in the world. But coronavirus is not the only virus. There are a number of other viruses which are being released by the countries at times, or most of the times by design, at times by default also. That these get created, but then they go out of the control of the creator also. And so therefore we will be actually getting exposed to a wonderful subject, and we have a great speaker today. Uh, and without much ado, I would request Group Captain Ashish to introduce the speaker.
Good morning, everyone. We have Professor P V Arya to deliver the lecture today. A brief academic and professional profile of the professor. He has done his MSc, MPhil, and PhD in zoology parasitology. This was followed by MPhil in bioinformatics. Subsequently, he did his MSc from the University of Nottingham, the United Kingdom, on cancer immunology and biotechnology. It doesn't end his qualifications. He has done LLB, MA in sociology, MA in economics, MA in study, and MA in psychology, and still to be continued. So he has been associated with DAS in college, and since 2020, he's holding the position of professor over there. He has been associated with this 4 projects which have been sanctioned by Government of India and as designated PhD supervisor by Board of Research Studies, Science, University of Delhi. He has held various administrative positions in the college, mainly prevention and control of vector-borne diseases, and his professional engagement includes subject expert with the reputed education bodies. He has been designated as observer and a resource person for National TV program Prakriti Ki Or, and a resource person for Radio Talk IGNOU, Radio Talks also. His association with IGNOU includes being an academic counselor for various programs, that includes MBA also, and he also maintains the website of the IGNOU Study Center. He has been a distinguished member of a number of scientific bodies that includes Indian Society of Parasitology, Indian Science Congress, Indian Peptide Society Association for Promotion of DNA Technology, and Indian Immunology Society. He has over 40 publications to his name, and he has attended and chaired more than 50 conferences. So over to you, Professor.
So thank you very much for a very detailed introduction and warm welcome. I'm from the bottom of my heart. I'm honored with this invitation, and I try my best to compile my information and some recent research I concluded or carried out on this particular theme. Biological warfare, as mentioned by our chairperson, is definitely a war of future. It is something that we cannot confirm, but we expect it is going on. We have all the doubts that this is going on. Proof is still missing. Specific reason for this is there are two mechanisms. One, we can have a live carrier. One person who is sneezing, who is coughing in our surrounding is a live carrier of any pathogen. It can be of a deadly nature. It can be of very harmful nature. That person may be affected for a couple of days. But if he is immune, he will survive. But anyone who is susceptible in his surrounding can be very deadly to him. That is one aspect. Another aspect, you can defend your borders with fencing. You can have anti-invasion mechanisms, but you cannot defend individuals or entire country from a person who's moving, infected person who is moving from one direction to another direction of the country. I have a specific data with our country, with reference to our country only. Take a simple example. If we use a simple train of our country, having a network of a huge coverage of entire nation, a train can travel within 24 hours, around 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers, depending upon its speed. So a person taking the cheapest mode of transportation in our country can travel up to 2,000 kilometers in a day. Our trains supports a good number of passengers. The train network covers around 7,000 railway stations in a day. A good number of area is also covered. So during this 2,000 kilometer of journey, he can interact or he can pass his burden or his virus or pathogen to from one side to another side. Remember, dimension of our nation is one side to another side around 3,000 plus kilometer, another side 2,000 plus kilometers. So means within 24 to 48 hours, he can travel from one side to another side. So we need just 2% from one side to this side and another side to this side to spread the virus or any pathogen, and you cannot detect. You just need you will identify the Aadhaar card or so, but it doesn't mark that he is carrying this such kind of pathogen. So I have already started. So I'm just showing a quiz sort of test your memory. So there's a list of some 13 text mentioning an year. So these are basically Hollywood movies or movies. So all those who are movie lover, they can test their knowledge. So I try to compile a list of movies that are based related to somewhere biological warfare on biological agent, something like that. So although the story is up to 2019 only, so I need to add it. Nowadays, it's a time of OTT. So there must be some series also on this aspect. So this is basically an idea. And before putting up stress on this idea, there was a very good example I used to share. In a Hollywood, there was a movie in 1902 around Man on the Moon, something like that name. So it 1960s, around 60s, men reached to the moon. So we have our imagination way back of final realization. Similarly, these are various concepts. So these concepts are developed on the basis of something that is in the cooking. So maybe the end product is exactly the same or maybe highly developed. So you can have a reference. All the kind of variety of movies are there. So it gives you an idea what is happening, because everything that is happening cannot come to the on the black and white papers. So this is just idea. So with this idea, what is happening? We witnessed end result of corona. So these are the end result we witnessed in our surrounding. There is a proper protection by the workers who are attending. I will take up this topic a little later. So first, taking up what kind of various biological agents or hazards that can cause havoc to us. It can be from blood or body fluids like hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, and HIV virus. It can be fecal or oral source of origin, like hepatitis A and E virus. Then it can be from contact. It can be airborne, like tuberculosis, then other type of virus. In addition to this, usually what is noticed, or I'll discuss that also, there is a mostly bacteria, fungus, and virus, and some microorganisms can be used or can be a pathogenic in nature, by nature, in the by default itself. So, but if they are attacking or they are infecting anyone, there are chances that recovery is possible. That is accidental sort of entry. But if a large population affected intentionally, so then recovery chances is difficult, and the entire system is on the stake to how to recover it. So this is basically a cycle chain of infection, like microorganism, various bacteria, virus, fungus, parasite may be the starting point. Then it may stay in a reservoir host, like we have an example of this. In case of corona, we have example of bat. So bat was the reservoir host. So the story about reservoir host is that it is not affected deadly for the reservoir host. It maintain a balance. The host survive, the pathogen survive. But the next target, who is susceptible, receive and got affected. So sort of reaction is going on. There are a good number of reactions are events that is witnessed in the history. Usage of various biological material in the warfare. Last up to the Iraq is also mentioned here. Old stories are there. So why I'm talking about biological, we have a good number of weapons are there. We have recently witnessed Operation Sindoor, and we have free of cost delivered some BrahMos to the neighbor as it was committed as well. So let's compare cost, their effective duration, and specificity as well. So I compile based on Google search some costing. So BrahMos around 34 crores. So effective damage. So I'm adding, it is under 1 kilometer if I'm correct. And the effect may be few minutes to few hours. So debris settle, recovery mission is going on. And yes, it's very specific. You pinpoint, I think the specificity around within meters. So it can target over there. Then again, kamikaze drones up to 1.5 lakh. I could search in the Google. So maybe expensive one, but this is the story. Again, F-16, Sukhoi, F-16, our neighbor's best asset. So it's cost around like that. Sukhoi, Rafale. So, but their effective damage, their range may be more, but their effective damage is around within 1 kilometer, depending upon the tool they are using. But their effective duration is few minutes to few hours. So one damage is done, one delivery is done. So it will 30 minutes. Otherwise, videos will be online that this blast has been done, then recovery mechanism will be done. But now come to our favorite topic, biological culture. So it's per kg price is around 2 to 5,000. Its effective damage is uncontrolled, and it may last from few weeks to few months. So once released, we don't know where it's going on. And specificity, it may be specific. If we have pinpointed our target, it may be specific. So considering this, there is further classification as well, depending upon their effect. US Center for Disease Control and Prevention categorize them into 3 categories: category A, B, C, depending upon their IIT and so on. So now I tried my research based on some data mining. If this is so simple, is there any data available for their usage by the terrorist? Because there are international conventions officially nobody is using. So if someone is using, non-state actor is unofficially using, there must be some data. So I tried the global terrorism database. So it is a database which is maintained from 1970 to 2022, and University of Maryland is maintaining, freely accessible. So it has got a data of around 2,14,000 cases of terrorism attack across the globe. So out of which I selected the keyword biological agent only. So I could find only 36 cases. during the entire duration. And the target countries were Chile, Israel, Japan, Kenya, Pakistan, Tunisia, UK, and United States. The agent used, like what biological agent was used, resin. It is a product from plant seed that is used, byproduct of the cake, oil cake from that plant. Then anthrax, again bacterial origin. Salmonella itself a bacteria. Salmonella typhi and other variations are there. Botulism is it's a product from a bacteria which is associated with the food poisoning. So, to the best of my understanding, based of my knowledge of the science, all that is listed here is something that can be detected, easily detected. And they are very prone for reporting. That's why this is the story 36. My gut feeling is this is not the exact number. Exact number is far, 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 far. The variety of other attacks that was reported, like usage of AIDS infected razors freely attacking some celebrities. So that's why this kind of report is there. So all those report of death due to unknown reasons in a specific region, so nobody knows. So this is the story about some finding. So now, if this is so troublesome, so then there must be some international regulations to this. So there is a specific convention, Biological Weapons Convention, which was opened for signature in 1972 and is in force since 1970. So as of now, there are a good number of countries that are signatory to this. As of May 25, 189 states parties has signed it, out of which there are 4 more countries that are signed but not ratified, like Egypt, Haiti, and Somalia, Syria. But there are 4 countries, at least 4 countries that have not signed this convention. So out of using entire map of globe, I'm just focused that area of the globe. Red is the countries which have not signed this convention, and the orange color is for used for the countries that are signed, not ratified. Maybe in the years to come. So there is a provision that UNADO, United Nations Office of Disarmament Affairs, is responsible for managing if something is reported and need to address the issue. For that purpose, they need to have some experts. They need to have laboratories because they cannot work alone. So for that purpose, they have a qualified expert across globe, 637 qualified experts, and their distribution is also on the screen. You can explore. Then expert consultants are also there. Analytical laboratories are there. So across globe, there are 92 analytical laboratories that are recognized for detection, identification, and other purposes in case of something is reported of biological injury. Let's come to the India. In case of India, we have the Weapons of Mass Destruction and Their Delivery Systems Prohibition and Unlawful Activities Act of 2005. It was enacted to meet the international obligation, as mentioned in the previous slide. Later on, there was addition to this, which was in 2022, regarding the Financing Prohibition Act, which mentions if anyone is financing these activities, their government can freeze, seize, and attach funds used for such activities. So this is the addition. So I'll try to focus major part of my talk on a specific report. Why? If something that is not visible, I need to add one more thing. We have signed that convention. We have our act in force. So that act gives a clause that we can do preventive research, defensive research. So that is the clause that is, I believe, used by everyone for the other way around as well. So if you want to defend ourselves from something, so you need to first set your target. So target must be so strong. So in the course of developing your target so strong, indirectly people are developing something that is there beyond their control. And these laboratories where these things are, these agents are there, they need certain standards. So higher standards, I think BSL is the category for their standardization. So the if there is some disaster, there's some intentional accident, so it may release the pathogen and beyond the control. And idea is basically you need to, because nowadays there is a daily development in science and new technologies are there. Earlier, when we started learning about the genome sequencing, human genome sequencing project, it took around a good number of years, maybe 10 years or so. But now, in case of corona, the entire genome sequencing was done within months or so. Now it's a story of hours or so. So one need to sequence the gene, one need to identify the specific gene, and now and tools are there to select the gene and place in a platform that we desire, and everything is biological.
It can be edited also.
Yes, it can be edited as well. We need to repeat it. We need to enhance its productivity. We need to enhance the product output. So that way, it's something we are at least manipulating at the microbead levels. So that is one aspect. But another aspect is how we are prepared to defend ourselves. So for that purpose, there is an organization which prepared a report, that is a Global Health Security Index. This report was for 2019 initially, then 2021. Thereafter, there is no updated report, so I'm using 2021 report. Currently, they are working on the African region. I find this report a very good one. So I'll explore various dimensions, various aspects, specifically with reference to India. So it mentions like only less than 3% we are ready to defend. The average GHS index out of 100 is 38.9. And the good number of in this good number of countries are in the weaker position. Our score is also there. So for that purpose, they use 37 indicators, and those 37 indicators of 6 categories information was collected in the form of 171 questions across countries. So these 6 main categories that were there for discussion or for information collection, including prevention. So how far we are ready for prevention of emergence or release of pathogens. Then detection and reporting, early detection and reporting of epidemics of potential or international concern, how far we are ready. Then rapid responses, rapid response to and mitigation of a spread of an epidemic, health system, how we are efficient, compliance with international norms, and risk environment. So these are the 6 major categories under which information was collected, compiled, and placed in the form of a report. So this, I'm taking the Indian scenario. So on the screen, we can explore around 3 images. The first one is showing our status in the prevention and detection response in each category. Our overall score out of 100 is 42.8. Our rank among 195 countries is 66. And the second image that is in between on the screen and a highlighted dot is something which shows our position on the global scale. So we are there on the scale of 1 to 100. So on the front, there must be some leading countries, including USA, but we are somewhere in the middle, ranking 66. So our ranks in a specific category is also there. So how we have changed from 2019 is also there in each category. So now I'll explore each category in detail. So how we are scoring. So some are very proud moment maybe there that we are ranking top ranks, and in some we need to work a little harder, or the parameters are not as per our infrastructure. So there is a comparison on a prevention aspect, 2019 score, 21 score, as well as the global average. So we are in prevention, we are on the higher side on the global average, and in some aspects. So now there is a specific point. How? Antimicrobial resistance. We are uncontrollably using antibiotics. So what happening is, the story about antibiotic is, if you use antibiotic, the microbes or any organism which has got a very short life cycle, maybe 1 day or so, our standard rule is one organism can mutate or change 3% per generation per species. It's a standard understanding. So per generation means one life cycle, one day itself. So in one day, entire species they are likely to change 3%. So these 3% changes allow them an opportunity to mutate, avoid risk. So if any one of the pathogen is able to understand that this is my problem, I need to skip, so it will skip. You will keep on using the same antibody, it's not going to work. Net result will be we will be using the same antibiotics and result will be zero. So that is the case for many countries nowadays. Many microbes are there. Our leading science agencies are working on the antibiotic resistance, looking for new tools to control and regulations for antibiotics usage, uncontrolled usage. So that is a first problem. So we rank 84. That is one of the reasons. And zoonotic disease, it's another aspect because we are agrarian society. Most of the rural population is there. So in case there is a interaction between human and the wildlife or their cattle, this is social structures there. So there are organisms which can carry these agents and they can pass on to the human system as well. So these kind of diseases are there. So that is then biosecurity level, biosafety level, then dual use research and culture of responsible science. We are ranking in a higher number. 13 is a higher number, means science is quite responsive as per this. Then is the concept of immunization. So immunization is a concept where we used to immunize our society, our children, our elders on a regular interval, duly supported by the government. So on that scale, we are also scoring good. So immunization is something. It's preparing someone to defend itself against the pathogen, like likely recurrence of that pathogen in the years to come. So it's building someone with the bulletproof jacket, something like that. So if someone is immunized, so he is self-sufficient, self-compatible to fight with that pathogen. So ideally, this is the best situation our body, ourself is able to defend. So for that purpose, if we are able to develop immunity our own self, it's okay. Otherwise, there are external sources. So these external sources may be of at least of two types. One type of immunization is for short duration. So if we don't have a proper vaccines or for to defend, so we can provide the antibodies. So these antibodies can allow us to survive for any potential infection for likely 90 to 120 days. So again, I use another example. Most of the time, we often see foreigners in our country in the mosquito rich area, moving in the shorts. So sometimes we motivate like how they can survive, we cannot survive. What would the difference is? When any foreigner from a developed country coming to any country, including India, they are advised to take certain antibodies against potential pathogen of that country. So they are using invisible cover against those pathogens. They can survive. We try that way. We will definitely need to visit doctor very soon. So next is the early detection and reporting mechanism. So we need to have a laboratory system strength and quality. So we are proud to have the first rank in this category. So in spite of having a 140 crore of population, so in 2021 report, we ranked one. Then laboratory supply chains, real-time surveillance and reporting, surveillance data accessibility and transparency. So case-based investigation, epidemiology workforce. So we are higher against the global average. Global average is 32.3, and we are 43.5. There are dimensions we need to work on, but still we are higher on the global average. Then here, rapid response to and mitigation to spread of epidemic, we are below to the global average. There are certain dimensions like access to communication infrastructure, trade and travel restrictions. So instead of focusing on first five, where our ranks are reasonable high, we need to work on these two aspects. And these two aspects are specifically, I specifically focused on what were the points which could fetch us the point in these aspects. Access to communication infrastructure is basically the questionnaire includes type of internet coverage, type of if it is gender neutral or it's a male dominant access or something like that. So that's a social structure. That's why we score somewhere over there. Travel, trade and travel restrictions. It is related to we are solely independent or we are dependent on certain import of material from outside country. If some restrictions are there, we will survive or not. So these kind of questionnaires are there. So there is a need to uh, develop and those aspects also. And sufficient robust health sector to treat the sick and protect health workers also. So again, the aspects covered in this is health capacity in clinics, hospitals and community care centers. So we have witnessed some examples in the recent corona epidemic. We have developed emergency facilities, but we need oxygen supply. That was a trouble. So that kind of issue lead to this late ranking. And supply chain of for health system and healthcare workers. So again, for the ranking, although we are better in the global score. Global average is 31.5, our is 46.1. Then healthcare access 193. This is for 195. Reason is our population is so large, and if everyone has got the access to the healthcare system, it is not possible. So I believe they didn't consider the informal sector of healthcare sector. Everybody is not dependent on the medicines. They know the herbal scenario also. They have the herbal recipes. So that's why we score somewhere over there. Otherwise, we have our own nanima, dadima recipes for everything. Then communication with healthcare workers during a public health emergency. We ranked one, in spite of having such a robust area population on a global on compared to the global scale. So we ranked one. So we all can remember that Arogya Setu app that was used to coordinate some way in very fast way. Then infection control practices and availability of equipment ranked one. Then capacity test and approve medical countermeasures ranked 58. We can add the example how fast we were able to develop our own vaccine. Then commitments to improving national capacity, financing and adherence to norms. So again, we are close to global standards and except one, we are almost reasonably respectable position. One is cross-border agreements on public health and animal health emergency responses. So considering our scenario, our neighbors, so we score 137. We have reasonable, respectable neighbors. So that's accounting for this score. Then overall risk, environment, and country vulnerability to biological threats. Political security risk 110. So I'll take up this topic a little later as well. However, global average, we are in comfortable position, socioeconomic resilience, infrastructure adequacy, environmental risk, public health vulnerabilities. So although we are scoring on the higher with the global average, but still there is a need to. So far, I was talking about about humans only. Our preparation against the um, any biological agent that can affect the humans. But altogether, we are missing one very major dimension. If we are using any biological agent for biological warfare, our target is definitely, or somebody's target is to disrupt a system. A system can be disrupted either by affecting their humans or anyone and everyone on which their life is dependent. So our animals, our crops, if somehow there is some agent in the system that can disrupt that stability, can be a problem because they are not accounted for very easily. So their story is not in the picture. But we have the example of locust attack from our western border. For that purpose, there is an international agency in place. Reporting, monitoring, and management aspect is there. The story about these pathogen, these pests is, if you control them early, you can control them. But their breeding is very fast. If you miss to control them, they will reach to the farther distant places. Now on your screen, that video that is running, this is a pest, and this video is not fast forwarded. It is eating at its normal pace. This leaf of this particular plant is very important for this plant. Plant is also very important, and it takes a reasonable time to grow this much of size of leaf. This single pest is comfortably able to damage the entire plant, which took a reasonable time. I just take example. Otherwise, we have our surrounding example of locust and other. So this way, not only just humans, but our crops, our domestic cattle, as well as wildlife animals can also be targeted through these tools, not just humans. So there can be some, there must be some research going on those dimensions. Although our priority is initially humans, human as well, human itself. Now coming to the Indian scenario, I was talking in the initial aspect, some dimensions about India, why it is so difficult to manage, why it is so robust system. Our dimension from north to south is around 3,000 plus kilometers. West to east is around close to 3,000 kilometers. Total area is 3.28 million square kilometer. We have road boundary with our neighbors 15,000 kilometers, coastline 7,000 kilometers. So usually a single train, an Indian Indian train can travel around 1 to 2,000 kilometers daily. Although there are records of world records of around 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers a day. So we have depending upon our terrain and structure. We have approximately 70,000 kilometer road network. I think we are second in the world rail networks, and then daily now the figures are of matter of concern to us. Then daily train ridership is approximately 23 to 24 million. During festival seasons, 30 million. Daily trains, approximately 30,000 trains, passenger trains and freight trains are going on stations. Metro ridership around 11 million daily, including 6 million of Delhi. Raid again on total roads, approximately 6.6 million kilometer. We are again second in the world in terms of our road network. So total daily usage using road approximately 85 to 90%. So estimated good number of population is there. So this data to showcase our infrastructure capabilities is very good. It's proud to say so. But when we look at the other aspect, how fast our adversary can use this infrastructure to spread a pathogen is definitely alarming scenario. So under such scenario, now I'm taking up a part of my presentation specifically to look how we deal with this coronavirus. So the very first picture of our Honorable Prime Minister, very simple picture. He used a typical cloth that we use in our traditional system and used it as a mask. So that is a very simple tool because for any pathogen to affect you, it need to enter your body. And the port of entry to our body is either we use something, eat that is contaminated food, or drink. So we need to be very careful about our food, where we eat and where we drink, what we drink. I'll also take up this specific topic a little later. Then air we inhale. So air is something that is not in our control, including the air pollution. But this simple device, I use this word as a device for Gamcha. So it can replace your mask, because mask is something ready-made. We used to, not used to it, but Gamcha is our traditional wearing. So if we use simply in the event of any dust or any odd air condition, it's a simple protection. Then during these scenarios, as I mentioned, if someone is infected, he keep on sneezing and coughing. So the social etiquette suggests that he should prevent himself, he should control. So, but we are in new age, nobody is, everybody is out of control. So better is at distance we followed. So these were the simple method, because many times complex problem have a simple solution. So we cannot control the entire population, such a large population. So if the scenario about the pathogen is the movement distance increases between an infected person or a carrier and a receiver, so the concentration of pathogenic agent is reduces. So now, if you receive a lighter dose of any pathogen, so instead of acting as a disease-causing agent, it may indirectly be a challenge to your immune system in a lighter sense, and your immune system will be able to defend itself. So that distance, more the distance between the carrier and the susceptible person, so less likely to be the infection to spread. So then there is a very famous Hindi quote there. I find it very interesting. You can explore it. It's practically uh, culturally correct. So it's like, if some warning is there, follow it religiously. Respect it, you will be safe. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Now it's time for me to use that example. There is a regular announcement in our metro. Usually, I think all can remember at least two announcements. One is, I quote, "Kripya farsh par na baithe." Running, when the train is running, a proper announcement. Don't sit on the floor of the train. Is the one announcement. Second announcement is कृपया खाने का सामान प्रयोग न करें. Don't use tables in the metro. So those two announcements are very important announcements, and almost every train you see ignorance. If you are sitting on the floor, so definitely I must have walked through that corridor using my shoes. That was carrying everything from my entire journey. And now with your dress, you will carry that germ from roadside to your house comfortably, because nobody puts out their clothes outside the house. Shoes you can keep off, but definitely you will keep your clothes inside your house or anywhere, everywhere you keep. So definitely you're carrying your pathogen over there. Announcement is there. Most of us are ignoring. So those are great souls. And second is eatables. I mentioned, for a pathogen to enter your body, these pathogens are basically microbes. They need something to eat. What we are eating is also there. So if we are eating in open space, pathogens are there. They find very good pizza and delicious food. So definitely it's attracting to them. Like I can do this. So I have a good number of microbes in my hand, even in this place. So now, if I provide them a reasonable nutritive medium, they will grow comfortably. So similarly, if you are having a party for them on a metro or train or any open space that is not meant for that purpose, so definitely you are doing this thing. So So this was for that purpose. So under the scenario, the the frontline workers try to guide them, motivate them, align them with the instructions, and if they don't follow, they followed another mechanism also. For the needy person, there were provisions for the food supply as well, because that's the basic necessity. But beyond that, beyond all those efforts, there were another active participants also that were spreading misinformation that this is not a danger, there is no danger, there is no need for a lockdown, there is something like that. So there was politicians spreading misinformation, media personalities, celebrities, and nowadays we have this thing, uh, this social media. Everybody is a doctor, so everyone. I used to call it something like that. So anyone who is every fifth fail person will guide you to the mechanism to pass the 10th exam. And he will compel you to bet this is the best recipe. You can pass the 10th exam, although he's fifth fail. That's the very much true story. I avoided a good number of examples of politicians, not on Indian, but as well as global scale. I avoided that. But you can Google, you will find good number of stupid fellows surrounding you. I'm putting one example. I could not prevent myself putting up this one. In the field of science, he is a very reputed person. Why? He was honored with the prestigious award in the science, Nobel Prize, for a landmark discovery in the science, which revolutionized the science of polymerase chain reaction related discovery. He was of belief sometimes a good idea comes to you when you are not looking for it, though the improbable combination of coincidence, navigate lucky mistakes and so on. So I like this book. Okay. But he was of opinion that AIDS is not spread by the HIV virus. Couple of other misinformation. He was truly of belief that all this is nonsense. Luckily, I'm quoting for good thing, but he was also associated with spreading misinformation. So the hard way. So if you don't learn through the software, then hard way was also there. So now with this compilation, I wish to thank again, and now I'm open for queries.